Andre Coley, the West Indies coach, have said that we played good cricket for 2 days. Although we were able to bowl out Australia for less than 300, it was not good cricket for 2 whole days. For how could you be playing good cricket when you were bowled out for 188? Craig Brathwaite, the West Indies captain, said that we are not executing, even when the ball is there to be executed, to be drive, we edge it behind the stump. Now, it is one thing to know that you need to execute, but it's a completely different thing to be able to execute. And that is what separates West Indies batsmanship from the others. We just do not have the skill sets to execute properly. Brathwaite also said that the test coming up tomorrow night, Jamaica time, 11 p.m., 12 midnight in the Eastern Caribbean, is a day and night test, and it's a pink ball match. Brathwaite, yes, the West Indies captain, is saying that the ball doesn't matters. Can you imagine that? Is simple, not in touch with the realization of the situation. But then, Alzaro Joseph, in an interview at the edge of the boundary after the first test, agreed that he should be batting up the order. Was he taking a dig of Joshua Da Silva? It is left to be known. For after Joshua Da Silva dropped that catch, it appears that Joseph is not quite happy with Da Silva. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am so happy to be here, and I must tell you that I'm safely home from the weekend excursion. It was a wonderful excursion, and I'm so glad that you are here. It was very good to see you. Today, I have with me Basil Butcher and Bobby Brown, who take very good care of me while in Fort Lauderdale over the weekend. Thank you very much, Bobby. I do not know I would have managed without you. You were really there for me, and I appreciate it. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing today, Basil?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Wait, Mr. Bobby didn't turn up on Sunday. I was there at the ground there Sunday, man, Mr. Bobby. Where were you?
No, we get caught up. I got caught up with some other stuff, so that's why I didn't come to the
Bobby.
ground.
I was looking for you and Mr. Carlton.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I flew home Sunday morning, although the flight delayed until after 1. I never arrived in Jamaica until about 9 minutes past 3 because the flight was delayed. Bobby, how are you? Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing wonderful.
Yes. Nice to have you here. Now, with the test match coming up, the second test match, as I mentioned earlier, to start at the Gabba in Brisbane on Wednesday night, Jamaica time. Although rain is expected for the second, third, and fourth and fifth day, tomorrow's start of the match is expected to be good. Now I've gone about choosing my 11 for this match. Now I've gone through a lot of scenarios, which having 3 guests, I do not really have the time to go through those scenarios. But I believe that the only person that could replace Chanderpaul in the team is McCaskey. And I'm not going to play a cricketer who have not scored a first-class century. I have said it before. I would not have taken McCaskey on the tour. He have not scored a first-class century. And I would not play him ahead of Chanderpaul. So I'm going to go in with Brathwaite and Chanderpaul. Mackenzie will take his spot at number 3. However, instead of sending Athanaze at 4, I would send the more experienced Hodge at number 4. You will say that Athanaze played 3 test matches compared to Hodge's 1. But Hodges have been around a very long time and is far more experienced than Athanaze. So I will go with Hodge at number 4. Greaves and Da Silva will maintain his place. There are many persons who believe that Da Silva should not play. After those two brainless dismissals in the first test, it was very difficult to include Da Silva, but he's there because it is more difficult to include Imlach in my playing 11. Jordan will come in place of Roach for obvious statistical reason, and also playing Roach in two consecutive test matches so quick behind each other. I'm worried that he may break down, so I'll bring in Jordan. Both Josephs are still in the order, along with Moti. There's a number of persons who believe that Sinclair should come in ahead of Moti. But in my opinion, Moti remains our number one spinner in the Caribbean. And not because he had a poor match in the first test. And it wasn't all that bad either. He never got any wicket, but he never bowled all that bad. I am sticking to my number one spinner and I'm backing him to perform. That's my playing 11. Now, I think Basil have a same playing 11 as mine. This is Basil playing 11. Basil, could you go ahead and tell us? No, that is Bobby playing 11 on the screen. Bobby, please explain your playing 11.
Yeah, so starting from the front with the skipper and Shanda Paul. I think they have a very tough year. You know, they've been to Australia, played too much. They got an easy run in Zimbabwe. You know, it was tough in South Africa. Then they had to face India. Now they're back in Australia. So I think it's a bit tough on them. So, you know, a lot of people are calling for them to be dropped, but I can't really drop them at this moment. So, and there's nobody else there. And Mackenzie, I think Mackenzie, I would have Mackenzie in my first team in the first game, but Mackenzie has proven himself that, you know, he's ready. He's up for the task. And Hodge, he didn't really score anything, but he looked the most comfortable of batsman out of the West Indies team to me. So that's why Hodge would keep his place. And Athenaze, you know, he's on a run right now, so we know why he's there. Greaves, I think Greaves batted good. He was a bit nervous. Greaves is a player that I think, you know, deserve an extended run because he looks really good. You know, he just looks a bit nervous when he's starting. I think he was unlucky with his dismissal. Maybe he would have gotten a half century in the last innings, but Greaves have to be there. And Da Silva, you know, I'm not happy with his dismissal, but he's there by default. And then I can't pick.
You have Roach in your team.
Yeah, so I have Roach, and I know a lot of people ask me if I would drop Roach, and I just think for his experience, you know, he just has to be here. Plus, it's a pink ball test. I feel like he can do a thing with the ball. I'm not too worried about his fitness because the game was only 2.5 days, so I'm not too worried about his fitness right there. And then with Moti, I can't think between Moti and Jordan. And the reason why is Jordan will swing the ball too. Not that Moti is doing bad or he did bad in the game. I think Moti is with Alzari, our all format bowlers. So I think Moti, I'm still a bit unsure which one I would go with. And then the two Joseph have to be there, you know?
Yeah. Thank you much. Thank you very much, Bobby. That's a comprehensive analyst. Now, Basil, you have the same team as me, but I don't know. Probably the reasons are different. Please go ahead, Bobby and Basil, and explain your selection.
Well, the opening batters, they fill in the roles. This is a 2-test series. I agree with you. I remember I had a conversation with somebody at the ground there on Sunday asking me about McCaskey. And I said, no. I'm not gonna my position with McCaskey beyond not having scored a first class 100, but he's in the squad. So to me, that is out the window. But I'm not gonna throw him into the deep end. In a pink ball test. If we got the bat under the lights, the ball moves a lot more in under the lights. So I don't want to throw him to the deep end and dent his confidence or anything of the sort. So I wouldn't even think about dropping Chandler Paul at this moment. And I'm not about changing guys. They just played one game and then you're ready to throw them out. No, I wouldn't do so at all. So the other batters remain: Mackenzie, Hodge, Athanaze, Graves also. De Silva, obviously, we can't make it. I'm not gonna change De Silva for Imlach, because I wonder what Imlach doing in the squad in the first place. And my only change is Jordan for Roach. When I looked up Roach's performances in pink ball tests, they're pedestrian to say the least. The game in England, he took 2 wickets. The game in Barbados against Sri Lanka, he took 3 wickets in the game. So, and that was when Roach was Roach. Because we talking 2017 and 2018. Now Roach is a shadow of himself. So I prefer to have Jordan, who does moves the ball both ways, and he bowls faster than Roach, because Roach is bowling at the same pace as Graves. We only need 2 120-something kilometers men in this lineup. So Jordan at least gonna add a little zip and movement to the ball. And Jordan is a guy, he bowls that hard length consistently, and he's a useful batter. He's a better batter than Roach. So we will get an upgrade in terms of somebody who could score runs. Roach is a guy that could be a good night watchman to block up one end, but Jordan can score some runs, and that's my team. And oh yes, and I'm staying with Moti, because Moti, in my view, is the best spinner we have in the Caribbean, and we have to give Mr. Moti a run. Not one off game or whatever, you throw him to the wolves. No.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, Australia have yet to lose a pink ball match in Australia. If my memory serves me right, I cannot recall Australia ever losing a day and night match in Australia. Basil, does West Indies stand any chance at all in this match?
Well, I didn't give West Indies a chance at all in the series before it started, and my position still remains. As I said, I saw this adventure for the young players, the uncapped players. I said they will get a good baptismal, and I am looking more to see who put up their hands to say, look, I got something to offer in this test cricket. Joseph has put up his hands nicely. Mr. McKenzie showed us signs with a 50 and a 26. So you saw a little bit there from Hodge and something from Graves. So that is what I expected to see. West Indies cricketers in this recent era are not players that adapt quickly. So I'm not raising my expectations. Hopefully they would have gained some confidence from now having seen the Australians. But I think at the Gabba, it's going to be a different task, because the Gabba these days in Australia is reputed to be the quickest pitch in Australia, unlike Perth in the old days. So playing on the combination of under the lights on their quickest pitch, it will be a very interesting baptismal for batters.
Yes. Bobby, what are your views on this match? What are your expectations for the West Indies team? And what would be a satisfactory performance for you? And who you are looking forward to really perform best?
Well, I would be really satisfied if West Indies can even push this game to 4 days. That would make me feel some type of way. But like Basil said, this West Indies team, or the West Indies team nowadays, they take very long to adapt. So I'm a bit worried that the game might finish faster than the last one. But in terms of players who I'm watching, obviously Joseph, Shamar, and even Alzari. I think Alzari might come better in this match. I'm hoping that the skipper can give us something. He hasn't been really good. But if we can get a good partnership from him and Shandapal, I think that can go a long way, a very long way, because they are probably the two most experienced batter in the team. So yeah, that's all.
Yes, I look at the first test and I said to myself, it would have been a different story if the openers had just give us an opening stand of anywhere between 50 and 70, allowing the youngsters more time to come into the game. Now, Basil, Bobby made mention that Greaves should be given an extended run. I look at Cameron Green from Australia and I look at Greaves. And I really don't see any difference between both of them except that Green is taller and is able to bowl at 140 plus. But it's the same thing, and Australia is doing everything to keep Green in that side. Do you think that West Indies should do the same and try and keep Greaves in this side as long as possible? And I'm coming to your comments very shortly. Yes, Basil.
Yeah, I don't think the comparison is a fair one. Because just look at the records. Cameron Green has a fantastic first class record.
They're
Graves
true.
does not,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And the Australians feel that this guy is a once in a generation talent, right? We have seen glimpses of it. Um, and they are gonna make sure they ride this to because as far as they're concerned, these kinds of abilities don't come around. A guy that could bowl at 140 plus, he's a fantastic field in the gully and the slip, and he's a serious batsman when he gets going, right? Those are combinations you rarely see, and I think they're gonna. But I can't say I would say Graves got to get a run. Graves got to put up scores to ensure a run for me. I can't because Graves does not come into this team with any pedigree that deserves a run. He has to keep scores for him to get a run, in my opinion.
Okay. Bobby, we look at Arch, and Arch continues to get out playing too late, and that's why he's edging the ball. What do you think that he needs to do to prevent this?
He needs to train, work harder in the nets. I
Okay.
think he has to work harder. He needs to get closer to the ball and stop pushing at the ball.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bobby. And gentlemen, I'm coming back to you, Bobby, first. West Indies under 19, and I'm coming to the comments in the chat. I realize that there's a lot of comments in the chat. Almost more than about 40, 45 comments are there about in the chat. So I'm coming, but Bobby, the West Indies under 19 team, they will be playing a match tomorrow morning at 3 o'clock. They'll be playing Scotland. And with England beating South Africa today, then West Indies have to win their next two matches to progress in the under 19 World Cup. That was the 11 that played in the match last week on Friday morning. I do not expect any changes. What are your thoughts on this West Indies under 19 team going up against Scotland tomorrow morning at 3 a.m.?
I think we have a lovely team, a good team. I think we should definitely beat Scotland. It's a great team. I think that the top order in the batting kind of caught a hiccup in the first game. That's why we lost. I think we would have beaten South Africa comfortably. So I think they should recover tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Basil. Would you go in with the same 11? Would you bring in that? Would you make any changes to it?
Well, I am not as familiar with all the players in the squad to talk on with such authority as to which changes I would make or not. But I saw Scotland play, and I think West Indies they're going to have a comfortable win against Scotland, because let us not conflate this Scotland on the 19 team with the Scotland men's team. They're not in the same league in terms of quality, right? So I think West Indies will take care of business. The game that is going to be most important for the West Indies is when they play against England. Not to say you look ahead to England, because South Africa now, they have to play Scotland, and I think South Africa will take care of Scotland. And the pressure is going to be on West Indies to beat England to get, and then this will become a net run rate situation, right? So,
So it's
West,
very important that we beat Scotland
Scotland,
very
and
handsomely tomorrow.
yes, and
No,
I think also we got to look to beat Scotland very comfortably to get our net run rate up, because that to me is the match where we would have a chance to build that net run rate having lost the game, right?
no. We look at this match, and there are persons who are saying that Joel Andrew should have carried home. I must remind you that Joel Andrew is only 16 years old, and he played a wonderful knock. And in his interview, he had said that he was thinking about the knock that Shea Hope had played against England and bring that home. But that aside, Isaiah Thorne, with all the experience he has, and you could probably say that Isaiah Thorne is the leader of this under 19 attack. But he just never delivered on Friday. He was, you would say, the poorest of all the bowlers that bowled on Friday. He, as a leader of the attack and not completing your 10 overs, that says a lot about him, Bobby.
Yeah, yeah. He was off. He was off. I hope he figure out what the problem is, and he can come good against Scotland because we're gonna need him against England.
Yeah. Basil, what you thought about Isaiah Thorne performance on Friday?
Yeah, I did not see him bowl, but I heard the reports and the wides that he bowled. Secondly, the over the waist bowling two over the waist balls that caused him to be taken out of the attack. Yes, expectations from Isaiah is high because he is a repeat World Cup competitor. He has been through this already, and he is supposed to be the experienced man in the squad, and in terms of leading the bowling attack. And it is somewhat perturbing that he is not the guy that is leading this bowling attack.
Yes. Brian H., good afternoon. Juna Benjamin, good afternoon. Roddy Latu, good afternoon. Arjun Sharma, please name those batters who are averaging over 35 in domestic cricket, including uncapped and capped players who can play for West Indies. We'll do that at another time because it isn't hard. It's just few. Basil, Christopher is struggling you up. He's struggling you as always. Big up, Bobby. So, yes, 007 is saying, my final 11 for the match is Brathwaite, McKeskey, Mackenzie, Atanez, Da Silva, Arch Greaves, Sinclair, Joseph, Rochard, Jordan. That looks like 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, Rochard, Jordan. So he's going with Roach and Jordan. Interesting selection there. Bobby, he has McCaskey in the team. He also has Sinclair. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think Sinclair would make much difference from Mouty. I know he can bat a bit, but I don't think his batting is up there yet. And for McCaskey, like you said, I haven't seen much of McCaskey to convince me that he's ready for the Aussies in a pink ball.
Okay, so Charlie Smith, both Basil and I would have explained that, so I hope you are satisfied with our explanation. We are not going to change anything. Please remember to slash a like on the video and click on the subscribe button. Basil, very quickly, do you think Arjuna Sharma is saying that the silver should either be open or be dropped? Quickly, how do you respond to that?
Well, I will go back. I remember some guys more than a year and change ago were advocating the silver to open for West Indies, and I said to them, "You guys must want the Silver's cricket career to be ended in short order, right? If the Silver is struggling at number 7, and then you send him with the space the new ball at that level, he's gonna struggle even more." And I just want to add to your point, your point in terms of the openers. These openers got to see off the new ball because you can't expose our greenback guy, green mango guys to the new ball. Most teams don't want their best batsmen seeing the new ball, much as we're gonna want very inexperienced batters gotta be seeing the new ball. That's asking too much of them.
Bobby, and I'm gonna go through the comments very quickly because there's a lot. We won't be able to take all of them. And please remember, slash a like on the video and click on the subscribe button. Brian H is saying that really and truly it shouldn't be Alzari that is moving up the order, but Shamar. Do you agree with him?
I would move Shamar up, in place of Alzari, but not any higher than 8.
Alzari got test 50s,
that is
I
also.
mean, Shamar look really good. He said he's comfortable at 11, but
I mean, you could put him up, you could move him up one space.
If I'm moving up Shamar, and I wouldn't move him up, but if I'm moving him up, it would only be one's place.
Yes.
Sardi Gabriel is saying that play all the Pacers. Roach can bat. Okay, thank you, Sherwin. We must drop Roach and Gudakesh Moti. Sure. Oh, thank you for your opinion, Sherwin. But I am not. I will drop Roach, but I'm not dropping Gudakesh Moti. Imlak is a better batsman than a Silva.
No. Bristol talking there. A biased Guyanese.
So Christopher, you think he's a bias? You think he's a biased Guyanese also, Bobby?
Yeah, man. Imlak is not better than that Silva.
No way. Look at the first class record.
In Dobro 7 saying that 11, Brathwaite, Mackenzie, Hodge, Chanderpaul, Athanaze Greaves, Joseph, Jordan, Joseph, and Moti. Yeah, I think that's the same 11 I have. It's just that I still have Chanderpaul opening. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, and this is my opinion, if Chanderpaul is not opening, I do not think he should play. What are your thoughts, Bobby?
I think about that long and hard too. Some people said he should be at 4th. But like you said, I think if he's not opening, he should not be there. Because what he's doing, he's really trying to see off the new ball, and I guess that's his skill. And I don't think he has enough shot to play anywhere else. So if he's not opening, I don't think he has a space.
Good point here. I love that. Basil, what do you think about Mackenzie as an opener? 007 saying open with Mackenzie. But I understand 007. But Basil, I prefer you take this one. It's from your good friend. Talk about Brathwaite, because I think that this is very important that Brathwaite comes good.
Yeah, I guess Mr. Bristol forgot on the last tour to Australia, Mr. Brathwaite had 150, right? This time around. But what I must say, in that last series, if you remember, both pitches we played on were not so helpful for the pace bowlers, right? Now we're playing on some helpful tracks, and we know when Brathwaite get catch on a helpful track against good fast bowling, he struggles. So we can't have the expectations, Brathwaite he gonna fight. At least that's we know what he's gonna do, right? And hopefully he can fight and see this new ball off and not expose these young guys to the new ball.
Okay, so Judah Benjamin, he has Sinclair in his team instead of Moti. That's the only change that he's making. Christopher Bristol and Dobro service continuing. So this is very interesting. It let me laugh. I know you guys probably saw me laughing a while ago, but Arjun Sharma, who's an Indian, is sending a message to the West Indies batsmen, and he's saying that if you don't have balls, then you can't play red ball, white ball, or pink ball cricket. So that one let me laugh. So
yes.
Here is Sherwin. Sherwin is saying that he's dropping Roach and Moti for Jordan Sinclair for the team. I would not have chosen Roach, Jordan, Tevin Imlak, Zachary McCaskey in my 15-man squad, but they are there. Fair enough, Sherwin. Thank you for your comment. So here's 8 Francis saying now, I genuinely would have no problem if our batsmen just block left and took singles all day. They must learn to play themselves into an innings and frustrate the opposition. Both gentlemen, I want you to comment on that, but Basil, you first. You think this is just blocking?
He first of all, you pay your money. It's entertainment. You come in there to watch men block, and then push for a single, right? Guys have to be able to score when a bad ball is bowled. You capitalize on the bad ball. Or guys, I mean, you asked earlier about Hodge. Hodge is seeing line and forgetting about length, right? Trying to play drives based on line and forgetting the drives must concur with both line and length. So that's why he went to slip. And these guys got to be a little more judicious, you know, because I think what happened to him and others is the pressure, the relentless pressure these Australian bowlers put on you. And as soon as you see something look a little wide, your eyes light up and you forget it's not the length to drive and you're going to slip.
Bobby, what do you think about this blocking all day?
I mean, right now, I'll take it right now more than being bowled out in half days. You know? I'll take that. I'm gonna say in the last test against India, I love the look that we gave to Sharma. I love how he was frustrated. I like that. But you know, we have to play some shots. If a guy come in and play some shots, but if the guys have to block and just, you know, put some miles on the Aussie's legs, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I mean,
but I would just add to that, on these pitches that give a bowler a little bit of lateral movement and bounce and so on, a ball got your name on it. So blocking is not gonna make sense because a ball got your name on it. You know, so your job as a batsman, because I'm quoting the great Kumar Sangakkara in this. Several years ago, he came and did a session with us coaches in the US, and he said, your job as a batsman, because there's an inevitability you'll get out. So your job is to get as many before that inevitability. So you got a clear mind. What the batters need to do, where they can emulate from young Shamar Joseph, is the clarity of mind. Shamar Joseph is clear when he comes to the wicket to bat. He see ball, hit ball. He ain't got no clutter. He is fearless. Maybe he can, through osmosis or something, it could flow into some of them.
Okay. Sherwin, I do not know where you got that numbers from, but Graves is not bowling.
Graves are 120.
At 138, you know. So Juna Benjamin is not. Tyrrell, I would not do that. If I'm asking Mackenzie to open, I'm dropping Chandapal. So I'm not going to drop. I'm not going to drop Chandapal. Mr. Casanova one is saying, if we had batsmen like Gale, Shiv, Lara, and Marlon Samuels in this current team, along with our current bowling lineup, we could have possibly beaten the Aussies in Australia. But
then we have Ambrose and Wall.
What I'd say to that though, Mr. Casanova, during the time of Lara and Chandapal and so, we had Walsh and Ambrose, and we still were not winning.
Yes, we did.
So I would have. So Cornell Owens is saying that bowling speed doesn't matter. I agree with you, Colin Owens. It's really putting the ball in the right position. That's very important. SOS Music. Good day, Cricket Forum. Drop Chandapal, put Mackenzie to open. All right. So if you are dropping Chandapal and put Mackenzie to open, Bobby, would you bat at say 6?
6. I guess Da Silva would have to come up, and then you could bring in Sinclair or Jordan. That's the only way I could see.
Agree with that, Basil?
I think if they drop Chandapal and was to put Mackenzie to open, they can bring McCaskey in and bat him down the order.
Okay. When is the next test series? I think we play South Africa.
England.
Africa. I think we play South
England.
Africa after the World Cup.
England
that's
before South,
England. England, yeah,
England
England
first
in
and then
July.
South Africa,
England
right?
before South
Yeah.
Africa. Okay.
England in England and South Africa in the West Indies.
Yes.
After the World Cup. So that will be our next test series. And, so gentlemen, it was really good being here. We look forward to the match tomorrow. Paul Goodman is saying, I am not a cricket expert, but here is something that I observe. All the good batsmen from the other countries seem to me to position themselves and allow the ball to come onto the bat, not the West Indies. Would you like to react to that, Bobby?
Yeah, I don't think we play the ball late enough. And one thing I see with the young batsmen nowadays, they cannot bat a swinging ball. They cannot. I remember the test match. I was watching with India and the rainfall, and the ball started to swing, and Atenes looked like he didn't know what he was doing. At first, he was very comfortable, but when the ball started to swing, Atenes just looked like, and I know he was going to be out. He just looked like he did not know what is this.
Okay, so I'm going to read Kirk's comment. Good night, Mr. Cricket Forum. I think Kirk is probably in England.
Carton freeze.
Yeah. Internet.
Yes.
So we seem to be having some internet challenges here. And
yes.
So I really appreciate you being here. So we look forward to the match. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon with another show just before the start of the match. We'll be looking at the West Indies under-19 performance in their match against Scotland. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Thank you all.
Mm-hmm.
The live telecast and the clippings coming out of the gala event on Saturday at the West End. Bobby, you were there. What's your thought?
I like it. It was a lovely event. I'm definitely attending next year again.
Okay. And Basil, there's a lot of talk about free Lawrence Rowe.
I heard the screams of free Yaga in the mole of free Palestine. And it has been, as I told you in a conversation off here, that it has been the chat in several WhatsApp chat groups that I am part of regarding, the Jamaican government and Jamaicans. I don't know what's the poll in terms of their feelings towards Lawrence Rowe. And there are different points to be made about the whole situation, because I just want to say this part where somebody was talking about, Roe and so on. And I went and I checked something out. There were several, you remember there was a resort